Hey guys, welcome to math. Alright, so we have learned so much already this year in math. We have learned about even and odd numbers. We've been working on adding now for a little while, and we've learned lots of different strategies or ways that we can add. We've added 2 numbers, we've added 3 numbers, we've talked about how important 10 is. So we're going to go back over some of that adding stuff today because we're going to start talking about subtraction today. So we need to make sure that we understand the addition before we can move on. So I have, and I'm actually going to get rid of 2 of these. There we go. I've got some addition problems right here on the board. And we are going to go back over those 2 different strategies I taught you on how to add. Remember, one of them was the count it up strategy, and the other one was the make a 10 strategy. So the count it up strategy, we start with the larger number, this time it's 6, and 6 goes in your head. And even when I say go in my head, I take my hand and I put it on my head. I'm putting the 6 in there. So 6 goes in my head, and then I talked about how you could hold up 5 fingers, because that's the next number, to help you count on. So 6 goes in my head, and then I'm going to count on the 5. 6 is in my head. I don't start with 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11. It's really important not to start counting with the number that you put in your head. All right, on the next one, 8 would go in my head, and I'd hold up 2 fingers. So 8, and then I count on. 9, 10. Good. There's our count it on strategy. All right, and then we talked about the make a 10 strategy, and we talked about how important 10 was in our last lesson. So the make a 10 strategy, you also have to start with the larger number, and you are going to try to make it a 10. So to make it a 10, hopefully we're learning that if you have 8, well, hopefully we're remembering that you only need 2 more to make it a 10. And I got the 2 from this 3. I'm going to kind of borrow some from him. And if I borrow 2 from him, I'd only have 1 left over. So it's like saying, well, 8 and 2 together make 10, and then I had 1 left over. So 10 and 1 more would be 11. And we worked on Friday about adding with 10 and trying to make the 10 plus number so fast. All right, 7 plus 7 is a little bit trickier because there's no large number. So it doesn't really matter which one we start with. If you have a doubles fact, which is 7 plus 7, just pick one to start. So I'm going to start with this one, 7. I'm going to turn it into a 10. Well, hopefully we're remembering from those number bonds that if I have 7, I'm only going to need 3 more to make it a 10. So I have a 10 now. And if I took 3 from the 7, that would leave 4. So it's like thinking, well, I made that a 10, so we've got 10, and then we had 4 more. So 10 plus 4, hopefully we're getting fast at that, 14. Good job, good job. And like I've said before in our videos, the beauty of these strategies, or the good thing about these strategies or these ways, is that it does not matter which one you use. If you like counting up and you're good at it and you keep getting the right answer, then you count up. If you like making 10s and working with the number 10 and you're getting the right answer every time, then you make a 10. It's up to you to choose which way that you like the best, which way works for you. All right, the next thing we've talked about in adding, are number bonds and that important number 10. So we've practiced a little bit on Friday. We talked about the number bonds and how we are hoping that we are getting used to different ways to make a 10, and hopefully we're getting to memorize it, which means we are just getting to know it, and you don't really have to count up. So let's see how fast we can do that. If I have 8, how much more do I need to make it a 10? It's 8 plus, 8 plus 2. What about 4? What can I put with 4 to make 10? It's 4 plus, 6. And then what about 7? What do I put with 7 to make a 10? It's like 7 plus, it needs 3. Oh, I know you know this one. How many more does 9 need? Just 1. Oh, I bet you know this one too. How much more does 5 need? Yeah, it just needs 5. Let's look at these number bonds. How many more does 3 need? Good. 3 would need 7 more. Oh, I bet you know that one. 1 needs how many more? Yeah, it needs 9. Oh, what about 2? How many more does it need? Yes, it needs 8. What about 6? Yep, it needs 4. And then I know you know 5. How many more does 5 need? Good. 5 plus 5. I bet you noticed something about these number bonds. I bet you noticed that 8 plus 2 was the same as 2 plus 8, isn't it? They all have the same things in them. 2 plus 8 makes 10. Just like in this one, 8 and 2 is going to make 10. It doesn't matter if you have the 8 first or the 2 first, it's still going to make 10 when you put it together. I bet you noticed like this one, if you have a 1 and a 9, it's the same as this 1 and 9. Because it doesn't matter if you have the 1 first or the 9 first, it's always going to make 10. And I bet you noticed on this one, you've got the 7 and the 3 to make a 10. It's the same as this 3 and this 7, because 3 and 7 are always going to make 10. It doesn't matter how you switch it around. If you have 3 and you get 7 more, you will always have 10. And I bet you also noticed that the 6 and the 4 is the same as the 4 and the 6. It's always going to make 10. And of course the 5 plus 5 are the same numbers, so it doesn't really matter which one you put where on 5 plus 5. Good job on making a 10. Alright, the last thing we talked about in adding was yesterday we added 3 numbers. And we even kind of used that making a 10 thing when we added 3 numbers. For example, when I add 3 numbers, we did talk about how you can't add all 3 all at the same time. You have to just pick 2 to start, and then you go back and add the last one. So if I'm looking at this one right here, I see something in there that makes 10. Do you see 2 numbers that make 10? Is it 3 and 2? Does that make 10? No. It's 8 plus 2, isn't it? That makes 10. And then I can add 10 and the 3 really fast. 10 plus 3 is 13. There you go. Alright, the same thing on this one. Do you see something that makes 10? Because I can't add all 3 of them at once. Which one makes 10? Yeah, it's the 4 and the 6. 4 and 6 make 10. So then I can just add 10 plus the 4, and I bet we know 10 plus 4 really fast. Very good, 14. So that was our review of adding 3 numbers. And you know, I didn't plan this, but, oops, sorry. That's the bell. Time to go home. Just joking, you guys are already home. And we're still doing math, so you can't turn off the video, sorry. Alright, it's still math time. Alright, I just realized that I bet that you guys could probably add more than 3 numbers if you wanted to. This is just kind of a challenge problem. Are you ready for a challenge? Alright, I bet you can do it. I have faith in you. You all are smart and I know you can do it. What about if we had, I gave you 5 numbers to add. Do you think you can do it? I bet you can. You guys are so smart. It's the same thing as when we added 3 numbers. I can't add all of them at once, so I'm just going to have to pick some to start, okay? I'm going to let you pause the video and let you see if you can figure it out and get an answer. And if you get an answer, you'll be ready to restart and just see if we match up, okay? So pause and think about it. See if you can figure it out. All right, you got it figured out? All right, well, let's see how you did. All right, remember when we talked about three numbers, it does not matter what order I added in. We've talked about that a lot. When we add, it does not matter. So I looked for something that made 10, but I didn't see anything that made 10 right away. So I am just going to pick I picked these two to start just because they're doubles. And I know that 3 plus 3 is 6. So I'm even going to kind of draw me almost like a number bond. I know 3 plus 3 is 6. And then, oh wow, if I put these two together, almost like another number bond, I know that's 6. So then I have to put this 6 and this 6 together, and I know that 6 plus 6 equals 12. Did you get that right? I know you guys were smart. Did you work it out exactly the way I did? You maybe didn't, and it's okay. You could have added it any way you wanted. That's the beauty of adding. It doesn't matter. So you all did really, really good with this adding review.